What's up? What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. 180, and you already know. You already know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. I got the phone in the hand, and you know what that means. That means that I'm already hitting that share button, hitting that like button, letting everybody know that guess what? 180 Life, 180lyfe.com. We're on the air. I need you to hit that share button because I got a show for you. Listen, I got to hit share real quick. I got to do it. If I'm asking you to do it, why can't I do it? So guess what? I'm going to go ahead and hit that share button to at least 5 different groups. Y'all know I'm part of all these different groups. I'm going to tell a couple people online, hey, I am on the live and you need to tune in. I just hit up 17 people. Guess what? I need you to tune in. Let people know 180 Life is on the air because I have a guest here with me. Y'all already know what time it is. It's the last day of March. So guess what that means? That means it's time for a new magazine. It's time for a new magazine, people. So I need you to hit that share button, hit that like button. Let people know that we're on the air. We are here. We are live. We are live. We are live. I'm going to go ahead and hit on my personal page because people is on the personal page and they letting me know, hey, Mr. 180's on the air. They going to hit them comments, hit them likes, hit them shares. Listen, I'm not even going to let her sit out long because I'm hitting like, I'm hitting share. So she's out in the audience, but I'm going to bring her back up on the stage. I need y'all to make some noise. Hit them hearts, hit them plus ups, likes, everything. My friend, my mama, everything. Listen, God, mom, she been working with me. She been rocking with me. She get on me, but she love me. You know what I'm saying? And she's a friend of 180 Life. So guess what? Y'all make some noise for Dr. Cynthia J. Hickman. Hey, how are you doing?
I'm wonderful, Mr. 180 Life, LYFE. What you got going on, fella?
Listen, I'm so excited. You don't even know. I'm so excited for today. I said I wasn't gonna be late. I set the alarms. Everybody was having me in different meetings. I said I gotta go. I gotta go because you already know on the 31st, everybody trying to see what we got going on over here at 180 Life. So first, before I get into big news and everything, let the people know who you are and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am Dr. Cynthia J. Hickman. I am originally from Toledo, Ohio. I am the product of 4. I am number 3 of number 4. My mother and dad had the ABC girls. We are Anita, Brenda, Cynthia, and Diana. We were TK kids, teacher kids, and we never got in trouble because we were TK kids. Don't believe that. Anywho, Toledo, Ohio, most of my life. My mother raised us there. I moved to Texas. Oh, I can't remember when, but nevertheless, I'm a Texan now. Don't it sound like a Texan now? But somewhere in that world, I brought my mom to Texas, and that started that journey. I am, though, a product of Scott High School Bulldogs, graduated from Toledo Hospital School of Nursing, graduated from Prairie View A&M University, graduated 2 times from Walden University with my terminal degree, PhD in health services with a specialization in leadership. I worked in acute care in the Texas Medical Center for over 26 and a half years with the famous Dr. Denton Cooley and so many more. I retired early to take care of my mom in 2013. Actually, on her birthday, August 13th, 2013, I retired to be a full-time caregiver. That's who I am. I'm not changing it. I'm sticking to it. That's my story.
That's your story, and you sticking to it. I love it. Listen. So you are our proactive caregiver advocate. You got it. First off, how did that become? Let's start with that one. How did that become?
So that became because I am a registered nurse.
Okay.
And being a nurse, one of the things that you talk about in always is being proactive in the caregiving space as a nurse because you don't want things to happen. I was responsible for other people's lives. And one of the things that I took very seriously was to keep hurt, harm, and danger away from my patients. So
Okay.
being proactive says that you're going to pay attention before something happens because you don't want an event to occur. That's proactive. But I
Okay.
brought that proactive home, Archie, to
Okay.
take care of my mom when it was time.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that's what my profession taught me how to be proactive. I
Okay.
brought it into the caregiving space and it saved a lot of anguish. Now, I will let you know there is an assumption that as a registered nurse, I had it all together. But believe it or not, in the hospital, we have a call button. You call and 99 people come.
Right.
When
True.
you're at home being a caregiver, there's no button to push.
Right.
It's you and whoever's in your circle.
Wow.
And your circle's not in your circle 24/7. So
Right.
a lot of times you are alone with whoever you might be living with. So the kids are living their lives, the grandchildren are living their lives. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, who is it? Me. And
Wow. Yes, ma'am. Wow. And I know that could be a hard job. I know that could be, and so you've turned this into a whole advocacy. If I can use that as a word. Listen, y'all, mama be getting on me with my words. I'll be making up words. So I'm gonna use that one as a word today. So you've turned that into being an advocate for people to prepare themselves, correct?
right. And the thing of it is, Archie, because you take your life's experiences
Hmm.
and you're supposed to share them with others. I
Right.
see a lot of times that even education is to be shared. It serves you no purpose if you don't share it. So
Right.
you don't put your education in a can. You don't sit on the can so nobody else can get in the can. You
Right.
allow your education to help and bless others. And that's my journey of taking care of my mom. Now it's time for me to give my nuggets to other people who might be in the caregiving space.
Wow. Wow. So I'm gonna jump into this segment real quick because they asked you to come and speak. Y'all don't even know she's an author, award-winning author. They asked you to come and speak, and there was one time you came and spoke. Oh, it's a movement. Somebody, Eddie Perry said, "It's a movement. It's a movement." You know, I got to keep in the because they say I didn't see my what I wrote. So I seen you come and speak. So let's tap into this real quick, and then you tell me what your mind thoughts was behind this.
Since we're lifting while we're climbing, inspire them by giving them a word from your life that will help them in their future.
Sure. What I really want to say to that, you can do everything and all things with determination, guidance, and support. I want you to recognize that the world is big enough for all of us, including you, and the steps that you take matter. I want you to stand on my shoulders. I want you to stand on Mr. Boney's shoulders. I want you to stand on anybody's shoulders that you trust so that you can make a difference this side of heaven. Your purpose in life is to make a difference in someone else's life, and that starts by selfless acts and looking to the future for everything and all things that you want to do. But remember, start with God, start with determination, keep your focus, and no matter what you do, remember that you are somebody.
That's excellent.
Wow, wow. Believe it or not, when I heard that, when I watched that, I actually watch that once a week because it inspires me to let me know, hey, I can keep going, and just to know for you to be a person I can call on for. So when you gave that speech right there, what was going through your head and those words? What's the power behind those words?
You almost made me cry, Archie, because my goal is to help someone along the way.
Yes, ma'am.
And and journeys can be lessened, or the stress of the journeys can be lessened when someone holds your hand,
Right.
someone gives you encouragement, when someone offers you a word, a nugget that can push you a little closer to your goal.
Yes, ma'am.
And as a nurse, one of the things that's been really difficult for me is watching how the profession has transpired. The COVID has caused nurses to think a different way.
Wow.
And I say that when you become a nurse because the laying on of hands is what matters. And in the caregiving space, the laying on of hands matters. And if you are not in it for the right reason, it will show. And I don't care how hard the job is.
Yes, ma'am.
You've heard the saying, if you find the job, the passion of your life, you would never work a day in your life.
Right.
And that's the message I was trying to tell them.
Wow.
That no matter what happens on this journey, that you can stand on my shoulders, you can stand on someone else's shoulder, but the goal is to push, because all of us on earth has a purpose. All of us.
Yes, ma'am.
And the goal is to be the best, that you can be in the purpose that you are designed to be in.
Yes, ma'am. I love it. I love it. And everybody listen. And this is the reason why. This is the reason why. I work with a lot of different people and a lot of different people. I'm blessed to be booked. I'm busy. I'm super busy. I'm blessed. But when I meet certain people, it's like you hold on to it. You know what I'm saying? And Dr. Hickman, you blessed me. Now let's get into our next. Why we got her here? Because you are our cover girl of April. April, right? April. 180 Life Enterprise magazine. That's you right there. That's you.
Right there.
And it's just an honor and a oh, okay. You got them at your house. Okay.
I got them at my house. There you go.
So everybody, I got to sit down with Dr. Hickman. We went back and forth in creating of a magazine on my team side, and a lot of people working with us to put this together. What was one of the nuggets that you want to make sure that readers get inspired about?
I want people to push past the situations and circumstances of their life and take themselves out of the equation and be a part of a solution that's bigger than themselves.
Wow.
Because we have to remove ourselves, because we're pilgrims passing through, and none of us are going to get out of here alive. So the goal we should have is to take what we know and give it to somebody else, so when we're gone, the baton continues to be passed.
Wow. Yes, ma'am.
When I'm gone, I want somebody to remember I said something, did something that helped someone take one more step.
Wow. Wow. So in this passage, you said that 3 things that you stand on is integrity, honesty, and fairness.
Yes.
What are those? How did those 3 things, out of everything, those 3 things?
Right. Integrity is all you have. If people know who you are, you stand up for who you are, you talk about who you are, then no one can take that integrity for you, and you don't let anyone else take it from you. And you protect your integrity. Because if you don't, you can lose your credibility. Being on top of the world means holding yourself accountable in everything that you do. So
Right.
Those 3 words are important. And I don't care how other people do, how other people say, if you're not fair to another person, it will come back and bite you.
It will. It will.
Come back and bite you. So what you do for others, what you do for others, either good or bad, will come back to you. So be fair. And the thing of it is, you might stand alone in being fair, but that's okay. That's okay. Be fair in everything that you do. Be honest in everything that you do. And those 2 things equal your integrity.
Wow. That's crazy, because this week I've been going through tests and trials. I tell people see me on Facebook and they see the pictures and they see the red carpets and the glitz and the glamour, but they don't know the behind the scenes part of it. Mm-hmm. You get where I'm coming from? Mm-hmm. And this week, faith has been tested. So, Mama, it's like, whoo, you know.
You know what?
And
When
I
you
was
said that,
talking.
when
Say
you
that
said
again.
that, Archie, what it reminds me of is 2 o'clock in the morning as a caregiver. When you're tested,
Wow.
you're tested because it's just you. You're tested because things have to be done, and everybody else is asleep.
Right.
Everybody else is living life like it's golden, and you're doing something totally different
Right.
because you've been tested on your sleep. You're sleep deprived. You're frustrated. You're sad because you don't want to see your loved one in certain situations. And when you're in those situations, you have to remove yourself and recognize that, you know, it's like, I have to honestly say there was days when I did not want to be nor care to be a caregiver.
Wow.
And my faith was tested because I was supposed to be the person who always give, always do. And there were days when I honestly did not want to do it, did not care to do it, was not interested in do it. And with the faith of knowing that I needed to do it because that's God's direction for our life, you kind of slap yourself back into reality and keep going.
Right.
So you said your faith was tested. Get tested, yeah, but you know what you did? You slapped yourself back in reality because people can make you go another way, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
See, and that's the thing, everybody. You have to understand. A lot of people are like, man, how does entrepreneurship, proactive caregiver advocate, how does that match together? Believe it or not, the mental capability of it all is the same exact thing. Because I'm speaking entrepreneurship, she's speaking caregiver, but we're speaking the same language.
That's
Where
right.
at night when nobody's there to inspire me, but I have to get the product out. I have to do this. I have to still do things to make sure that people are good. I have to do my job. This is what a lot of people, I was talking to my mother the other day, and I was, you didn't check on me. Oh, you was doing good, baby. And she has to tell me, hey, call. If because people see on the internet, in front of everybody.
Yeah.
When everybody else is awake, 9 to 5, everything is good. But what happens at night, I took care of my grandmother, and she passed away in 08. And it was the nights a lot of people got mad with me because, and everybody, my cousins, it's okay. I'm cool with it. I was her favorite grandchild,
What you say?
I have to put it out there. I was the favorite. And the simple fact of the matter was, like I explained to them in her passing, was I was the one up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I was the one up trying to figure things out. There's a lot of things that go on into caregiving that a lot of people don't know about.
Let me mention that to you. You bring up a good point, and let's bring this into the equation. Sibling responsibility, family responsibility, whoever's in your circle responsibility. Because while you were up at 2 o'clock in the morning, what was everybody else doing? I mentioned earlier. But the fact that because we had this mindset of doing what we needed to do, we didn't realize that maybe we should have called somebody, Archie, at 2 a.m. How brave would that have been to pick up the phone and call Cousin John? I need you to come over here right now, Cousin John, and help me roll Granny over. Yeah. And Cousin John, 9 times out of 10 would say, I'm tired, man.
Yeah.
I go to work in the morning, man. Yeah. Maybe I'll come over after work. You see how they put it? It all of a sudden takes the reality out of, well, here's the word, selfish.
Wow. Yes,
not
ma'am.
On purpose, but
black
selfish.
And white. Tell them the truth. Yes, ma'am. Tell the truth. Yes, ma'am.
And you call it what it is. And by doing that, it opens someone's eyes to the fact that, yeah, I thought about my job, my sleep, my rest, but I didn't think about coming to help Archie.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
So I only say that because our listeners need to recognize that nobody is immune to being a part of the caregiving circle. You don't have the option to be immune. You don't get an opportunity to get a pass. You have to bring whatever gift and talent that you have, bring it. Because although you may not be able to change the linen on the bed, maybe you can run an errand.
Yep.
Maybe you can do something in the space when you know the person that you're taking care of can no longer do it, but
Right.
you're not exempt.
Right.
So cousin, auntie, children, grandchildren, if they're old enough, you're not exempt. There's something that everybody can do.
That's right.
And your age group, the next movement is your age group telling them, I want y'all to take the blinders off. Because if you're 30, your parents are probably 60.
Right.
Which means that who's paying attention to who might have to take care of your parents?
Right.
Take the blinders off and start paying attention, because that's where proactiveness comes in.
Wow.
The efficacy of proactiveness is paying attention before something happens. I happened to look up the definition because I have a colleague that asked me, why did I call myself the proactive caregiver advocate? And I said to him, being proactive means that you're forward thinking, that you're forecasting, that you're paying attention to problems before they come. You're visionary, because what you don't want to happen in the caregiving space is hurt, harm, or danger.
Right.
So how do you prevent those when you can? By paying attention.
Yes, ma'am. So my question for you would be, do you sit down with the siblings, with all your siblings, and say, this is what we're going to do in the event something happens to mama?
Yes, my kids know where the insurance papers are. We can talk about that another day, another time. And it's not a Facebook collected money. It's insurance. It's insurance policies for me and dad. Yes, we talked about where things are. We talked about the banking statements. We talked about what I want to happen at the end of life, because that's a hard conversation, but it needs to be a real conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
They know. They know. Because I don't want anybody to have to feel bad about making a decision that when I'm in my right mind, I can make for myself. And that's what I want our audience to think about. Don't love your family enough to make the decision on your own. So we're not fighting over the goods. We're not fighting over the Cadillac. We're not fighting over the house. We're not fighting over the money in the bank. You need somebody to be in charge, somebody who is able to be in charge. And it's not all the time the oldest person in the camp.
Definitely not. Definitely, I agree to that.
I'm number 3. When my mom got sick and I called my older sisters to talk about what had happened to my mom. My mother was on a ventilator, which is something she never wanted. And I called my sisters and told them that I was going to remove her from the ventilator because she never wanted it. My sisters didn't hear anything I said.
Wow.
And they were in Ohio. Of course, we were here. So they traveled to Texas to have this conversation. But they were not willing to accept if we took her off the ventilator and she passed, how would they interpret that? But Mom and I had already talked about it.
Right.
So we had it down, but they didn't have it.
Wow.
The conversations need to be had. And your age group, Archie, needs to start having a conversation about mamas, who has policies, where are policies, where's the bank account,
right?
Are there beneficiaries on the bank account? Because if you have to work and use your loved one's money to help them and your name is not on that bank account, it's not going to happen. What you don't want to happen is probate. Probate is long and drawn out, and what you need to happen in the present will take years to happen.
Wow.
So put your paperwork in order, put your situation in order, have the family conference about what needs to happen. Wow. Should it ever happen.
Wow. This is informative, y'all. If y'all listen, if y'all just tapping in, I got my girl, Dr. Cynthia J. They're going to get upset. I'm sorry. Let me. I got Dr. Cynthia J. Hickman with me, your proactive caregiver advocate. And she is the cover of our April 180 Life Enterprise magazine. You can go to 180life.com to get your copy. If you want an autographed copy, I believe she has some. You can inbox her if you're following her on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. Go to your website. You can go to her website. She will make sure that she can get you an autographed copy for a low fee of whatever her fee is. Listen, her autograph is worth some money. You know what I'm saying? Some money. So listen, if you're just tuning in, we're sitting here and we're talking about she said, not my girl, not my girl. No. Listen, Dr. Hickman has graduated. Listen, wonderful, wonderful woman. We're speaking about talking about those uncomfortable conversations that families have to talk about. Because you get tired of buying fish plates to help Big Mama get in the grave and Grandma and Granny and everybody else. And we gotta
say that. What do they call crowdfunding sources?
Crowd, right. We getting tired of it. We gotta come as a people. And like she said, proactiveness means to prepare. Basically, if I put it in, to prepare for, because we all, and it's sad to say, we all got to cross that river one day, and you got to cross that road, and you have to be prepared. And I know it's a touchy subject, but you have people like Dr. Hickman that can you moderate these conversations for
can. We need to bid me to come. My friend uses that term. Bid me to come. I'll come to your churches. I'll come to your conference hall. We can have a conversation about if you want to do a specific topic. We can be broad so people are not too uncomfortable. But then sometimes when you're uncomfortable, you'll change your way. So maybe we need to be uncomfortable just a tad.
Yes.
We can change our way, because the point of all of this really is for you to make changes that will help. And if it's one change, fine, two change, but that's very important. Also, let me bring up, as a nurse, one of the pluses of being a caregiver is I had a huge background in healthcare. And one of the problems that occurs in caregiving is that we assume that the only part of caregiving is what we call the activities of daily living. That means you get them up, you give them their bath, you brush their teeth, you comb their hair, you put some clothes on them, you do the potty thing, if that's part of the equation, and then that's the end of the day. But because it's more to it than that, we have to move past the activities of daily living and talk about the changes, talk about the things that you have to do between those dots.
Yep.
And I bring that up because older people have an array of health conditions.
Yep.
And you have to understand what goes on in the health conditions in the caregiving space. If there's diabetes, if there's heart failure, if there's thyroid issues, if there's skin conditions, if there's cancers, if there's blood clotting issues, you have to be mindful and understand what that means, because you can injure somebody by not knowing about even the health problems of people that you're taking care of.
You're right.
Yes, and then you have people who have mobility issues, that are weak with their knees. They don't ambulate, meaning walk very well. There's things you need to do in the home to keep them safe.
Wow.
And safety in the home is a huge problem. Where's the number one space where people fall in the home?
Bathroom? I would say bathroom.
Bathroom. Absolutely. Now, and in the bathroom, some of them are not large.
Right.
And think about the bathroom and someone uses a walker or a cane.
Right.
Also keep in mind, our older people, what did they like on the floors? Throw rugs.
Yeah.
If you're walking with a walker or a cane, that's a safety disaster.
Yeah. It can slide, it can get stuck.
And you fall.
And when you fall in the bathroom, most likely you'll hit your head on the counter.
On the tub.
Because the toilet, because it's so small.
And it's hard. And all those are problems. So you have to look at the physical environment as a caregiver in the home. People don't think about that. This is when they think about it, when something happens.
Wow.
And I'm saying, please think about it before it happens.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that keeps you from hurt, harm, and danger.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I remember
caregiving mindset.
I remember when we were taking care of Big Mama, and the thing about it was she had diabetes. So I, my dad had diabetes, so I had already knew how to handle certain situations. But it was those 3 hours in between the workers coming in that a lot of people don't even understand. And I was, when my grandma died, I was 18. So this was when I was 16, 15, 14. And you got to still go check the blood sugar. And you got to still make sure they eat. You got to, and you got to do certain things in between time. And then in the middle of the night, they leave at 8:30. They put them in the bed, and then boom. I remember right. What stuck out to me was those nights. So they had put my big mama in the bed that goes up and down, the foldable. I call them the foldable beds. And a couple of times, she's trying to roll over. You don't want to just. And I would tell people, like, you don't just stay on one side when you sleep. So she doing what she is trying to roll over, and she would fall. Well, not fall, but she would roll on the remote.
Oh, okay.
So the bed would start moving. And so, we would get the call, like, because I'll be at home. Hey, the bed got me smashed. So you got to zoom. I'm 5 miles down the road. I got to zoom over there, because the worker's not coming back. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, okay, I got to hurry up and do this. Then before you know it, I'm spending the night over there because you just, okay, hey, can you come and turn me? Can you come and do this? And then when you spoke on clotting, that put me in, because they'll get bed sores quick. Like,
there
hey,
you go.
we got to move. Hey, come on. And some days they don't feel like moving. So you got to have patience.
That's right.
That's
right. My mother one day, she had a lift chair, and she sat on the remote one day. Now the lift chairs brings you to a standing position. So I hear this noise, help, help, help. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm dreaming because I'm tired of, help, I'm falling. And I thought, so let me go back here and see. So I go in there, and the chair's all the way up. She slid all the way down.
Yeah.
She's sitting on the floor.
Oh, wow.
I said, oh, what are you doing down? I saw the chair, but I said, oh, what are you doing sitting down there? I tried to call you. So I sat down on the floor with her. I said, well, this feels pretty good down here. Let's sit down here for a while. But you know why I did that? I was home by myself, Archie. And I'm sitting there in my mind thinking, how am I going to get her up off this floor?
Right.
I was home alone.
Wow.
So you see, let's talk about home alone. Allowing your parents to stay at home alone because they want to stay in their own house. What if I had not have been home?
Right.
Not to say that you can be home. My mother has fallen a couple of times with me being home. But if you imagine someone falling in the bathroom,
right,
home alone, hit their head, and you don't find them for the next day.
Right.
Can you put that picture in your head?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm always saying that the whole enchilada of, I know our parents are stuck in their own ways. They want to stay in their own house, and God forbid, I when I get old, I do too. But I also realize that I have to think that someone's looking out for my safety, and that may not always be something that is going to happen for safety's sake. Yes, so if you have in our audience, if you have parents who are living alone, I mean, they're in their own house, and maybe there's stairs in their house. Like in Ohio, we had basements, so if your loved one is going downstairs where the washer and dryer might be, it's a safety hazard. If they fall, and if you're not attentive to calling them every day, that's a problem.
Right. And see, that's the thing I tell my mom. So like me and my mom, now with my career, I used to be able to call her 3-4 times a day. And like now, sometimes I'll get it in while I'm going from one meeting to the next meeting. Or if I'm not driving, I'll be in the back and I'll be talking. But that's one thing I do for me, want to tell our audience, y'all check in with your people. Like, you know, everybody that doesn't know my background, I'm a licensed mortician. And I was a licensed mortician for 3 years. And it would be crazy. The bodies would come in and they'd be like, oh yeah, they were there for a month. I don't even think I can go a week without talking to my mama. Like, hey, it's okay to, hey, you know, we had that situation with Big Mama. She didn't answer the first time. So we thought, hey, she might be using the bathroom, taking a shower, whatever. She was living by herself because she's that mom as well. I want to live by myself. I want my own independence, you know. And then probably about call number 3. Now, this was before they really had the things that go around the neck.
The life alert.
And call number 3, I'm like, my mom's like, something's not right. Let's get on over there. So we pull up, and lo and behold, that same story you're telling, she fell. I want to say she fell in the kitchen though. And you know, and it was like, okay, we got to do some things different because she had been down there for about 2 hours. And you know, my grandmother was a little bit heavier, so we had to call the ambulance. Like when my grandmother fell, we would have to call the ambulance to get her up. You know, and it's like those situations, guys, you gotta check in with your family.
You must check in. And you said that the thing of it is, let's talk about the kitchen real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
Kitchens, hot water, microwaves above your head, dishes above your head, and an elderly person where dishes have been there all along, when they start getting a weakness in their hands, you know, that becomes a problem. They reach for something and it falls. If they don't have shoes on, if they break something, then it's a cut. You know, so again, you have to start paying attention to the environment, because most of the injuries that occur in the environment of people who are older. And so it's just really a real eye opener that I try to share with people. Let's look at your environment for safety. Because like you're saying, Big Mama on the floor 2 hours, that's still too long. You know,
way too long.
And we have to, and I think the other part of it is keeping older people with their independence and respect. It is very important. And it's a challenging reality when you really have to have the conversation. And believe it or not, I just had a conversation with a couple friends of mine early the week, because the wife is sick. She has Parkinson. The husband's older. He's in a wheelchair. You've seen people with the wheelchair with their feet, and they go all around the house with the feet. Yeah. Wheelchair, but they couldn't stand up to do a thing. And so she was hospitalized. Wow. And the hospital called their daughter and said she's going to go to a nursing home unless family takes ownership of her. Wow. And if they didn't, they were going to call Adult Protective Services. And when that happens, you'll be out of control. So you don't ever want Adult Protective Services in your space. Yes, ma'am. So as a result, now she's living with her daughter. The husband's having a fit because he wants to come home. And what he really doesn't realize is he's not safe at home either. Right. But what they really want is to be in their own space. It's no longer possible. So when you think about all the spaces in the house that could cause a problem, you really have to think about that from the standpoint of our elderly parents. The kitchen, the bathroom, sometimes even if you have steps, some homes have steps up and down. How are they getting up and down with those? And wheelchairs, although we haven't talked about them, the safety of skin in elderly people who are bound to beds and wheelchairs is another huge issue that we don't pay attention to. Yes, ma'am. So the list is huge, Archie. The list is long. You know, and one size doesn't fit all. Everybody's situation is so very different. Definitely. So I made the comment when I was asked, why did I call myself a proactive caregiver advocate? And I said, because I have to think forward. I have to look at the bigger picture. And once you look at the bigger picture and see what's in your picture, my picture, you're able to make an assessment, then you're able to make a care plan or what it looks like. But I call it a care plan with flexibility because it changes from day to day. It changes from week to week. And you have to have the mindset to know that don't let the change influence you, adjust with the changes. Because if you don't, you burn out, you're frustrated, you're mad. And
Right.
many days I got in my car, rode around the block just to scream because I was frustrated and mad.
Wow. Wow. I feel you. I understand. So we gotta go to the questions from the viewers.
Okay, sure.
We got a question from Mr. Edward Johnson. He says, what do you do with the older parent that has never been a nice person? Jesus. Okay, but now needs help and wants to maintain independence. I'm gonna give
Jesus,
that to you,
Jesus,
Dr. Hickman. That's not my field. My
Jesus,
God.
Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Jesus is his name.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be stern and loving. The stern part, you just have to be stern. And you set your mindset to being stern. Now, stern does not mean you're not loving.
True.
And you have to remember that it's not for you, it's for them.
Right.
Because it's very hard. If you're a nice person, it's hard to be mean. It's really hard to tell another adult what they need to do and when they need to do it.
Wow.
But it's also necessary for safety's sake and for their sake. And older people don't realize that. You know why? Because they've never been old before.
Right.
They've never had this condition before.
True.
They've never had to worry about somebody helping them before. So now they're stuck with needing help. And really the attitude is they're mad about it. When I watched my mother go from being independent, she came to us driving her car. She went to the grocery store on her own. She went to the senior citizen center on her own and found her boyfriend while she was there. She did these things on her own. So can you imagine all the things that an older person does on their own and now it's snatched from them?
Right.
And they don't realize that they can't do it anymore.
Right.
Because as old as I am, y'all know I had a birthday.
Right. I know we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that.
I know I turned 68. This is what 68 looks like. And in my mind, I can still run 5 miles. I think I'm down to 1.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But the reality of it is, your body has one agenda. Your mind has another agenda.
Yes, ma'am.
Old people think they're 25 in the brain.
Right.
Their body got a whole nother conversation going on.
Yes, ma'am.
And because of that, you have to stand up for them. So, Mr. Ed, you be nice, you be kind, and you be stern.
If I can add a little bit to it as well, be patient.
And be patient.
Be patient. Big Daddy wasn't mean. My grandfather, somebody says happy birthday. Happy birthday. Sending a birthday love to you.
Woo, woo.
Birthday love. My grandfather was not mean. But my grandfather was very independent. A very wise man. My grandfather died in 2005. I was 15. He was 105 years old. My grandfather taught me how to drive. My grandfather taught me about screwdrivers, how to fix stuff. My grandfather was the ideal, like, he taught me about the civil rights, like stuff that, he was the ideal grandfather, like, and he was a good provider, but he had gotten to a place where he didn't even realize that's not right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I remember when, like your mom, my grandfather drove, they flew to Texas because we're from California. And my grandfather was still driving through California streets. And then when we moved them to Texas, he wanted to get in his car. Like, okay, let me go see what's going on. And you have to tell him, no, you can't do this. Because I'll never forget the reason they came to Texas. My grandfather forgot that he was driving. And he was getting early stages of Alzheimer's.
Right.
dementia and stuff.
Right.
And when the doctor called my mom, my mom answered the call, did what she needed to do to get them there. And she had already told us he's not driving when he gets to Texas
Mm-hmm.
at all, and it's different.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and you got to be patient, guys.
Right.
Because he still thinks that he's walking faster
Right.
like us,
Right. Exactly.
And there's been plenty of times because they taught me to walk behind him. He was
Mm-hmm.
on a walker, walk behind him. Because if he falls, he's going back.
Right.
And you there.
Right.
And when you're 15, like, why are we walking so slow? You know what I'm saying? Let's go. Like, and even when you're 21, okay, come on.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be patient.
Gotta be patient. I do agree. That's true 110%. That's part of the process of recognizing that it's like the babies. When you start a baby, what did the baby do? He start off slow, crawling, might get up, might fall, and then as they progress, and then back on the other side. So you're absolutely correct. The patient piece is all about why you have to assess if you become a caregiver, because it will always be a challenge of patience. Will always be a challenge of patience. I'm glad you brought that up. That's very true.
It's definitely, guys, things to think about, things to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I love this topic. We can go on for hours and hours
Mm-hmm.
about the topic because it has to be said, guys. One thing about the 180 show, we're gonna talk about things that some people don't like talking about, and it's kind of sticky situations.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love about the show. That's the whole purpose of the show.
Right.
Well, we got Dr. Cynthia J. Hickman in the building, and she came because if you're just tuning in, hit that share button, hit that like button. So, you just had a birthday. You just had a birthday. The cover of 180 Life Enterprise. I'm seeing you on all these different shows. You're getting all these awards. So I couldn't keep going. I said, you know what? We got to send her the 180 Life Award. We got to send her a 180. So we sent it, everybody, so she can have it for this day. We thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. So, our audience, everybody, I need y'all to type happy birthday on the line. And there goes the award, the front cover award for April. Your proactive caregiver advocate, Dr. Cynthia J. Hickman. She motivational speaker. Before we go, we got to get into the books. I dare not leave. You are award-winning author. Tell it. So I know about 2 books, but I think there's more. So the books are called the names of your books are called, and I got the names, but I just got to pull them out real quick.
All right, pull them out. Let me see. Let me see.
Let's see if I know the names.
Let me see.
From the lens of daughter, nurse, and caregiver, that's one of them. And then the Black Book of Important Information for Caregivers.
Correct.
That's the second one. Being an author, being a writer, how did that come about? Like, okay.
Hey, Archie, guess what? I just realized that I actually have 3 books.
Okay.
I have 3 books. I've contributed to several books. But I just realized when I did my PhD, that was a book.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that actually was my first book. It has 5 chapters.
Oh, wow.
In that book. So book number 1 was my PhD dissertation. Book number 2 is From the Lens of Daughter, Nurse, and Caregiver, A Journey of Duty and Honor. That book came about because I was having trouble healing after my mother died. And I kept trying to figure out, how do I move past? I got really depressed. I got really down. I didn't want to be around people. And so initially I started writing it before Mom died because I wanted to write it as fun and her being a part of it. And I did to some degree. One of the chapters, when I was working on my dissertation, my mother was a school teacher that I mentioned before, and she edited stuff for me from time to time. And one of the chapters in the book, I let her edit. And when she gave it back to me, she had all these red marks on this chapter. I thought it sounded good. It looked good. She marked that chapter up so bad. And I thought, well, you know what, sister? You won't get another chapter. It came about because I was trying to help myself. Now, what happened was, Archie, I had to write the book backwards, and I couldn't understand it because I kept trying to write the fun part, going to the museum, watching her with her eye problems, going here, going there, taking her around Texas because she was new to Texas. But the chapter that I wrote when she said, "Just throw me away," I had to stop writing it. And the chapter of Just Throw Me Away came about because my mother was realizing that the things that she couldn't do anymore.
Wow.
And as an independent person,
Right.
that was most telling for me. So
Wow.
I had to stop. So I couldn't finish the book till mom died. And the reason why God showed me that was I had to write the book backwards. I had to write the end of the story first, which was so very hard to write. And then as you get through the difficult part of the book, then you can write about the fun stuff because that makes you laugh, makes you feel better, makes you
Yes, ma'am.
appreciate the caregiving journey. So that's what happened with the first book.
So can I ask a question real quick? And I don't mean to interrupt you. So, because my grandmother went through that too, and you try to not think about that day and that particular time. I'll never forget when they wheeled her in and things were going on at her house that she didn't. She's not independent no more, and I have uncles and aunts, and something happened, and my grandmother said that just throw me away. I'm done. I don't want at this point because everything she felt everything was stripped of her, and
Right,
literally a month later, she was deceased.
right.
And in that moment, I miss my grandmother dearly. Like I was her boy. So in that moment, like I was hurt. How was that moment for you? How was that moment? Like,
The moment to throw you away moment.
yes, ma'am.
What is the moment that she said that to me? The only response I could give her was, "Mama, when I was a baby, did you throw me away? When
Wow.
when I couldn't do something, did you throw me away? When
Wow.
I did things that you asked me not to do, did you throw me away? Mommy, I
Right.
would never throw you away." And I
Wow.
said that to her. I would never throw you away because you never threw me away. And
Wow.
that made her feel better. And the one thing I worked so hard to do was to never let her feel like a burden,
Wow.
because that becomes the end of older people's stories sometimes when they feel like uh, the things that you're doing for them is a burden.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, there were days when I was frustrated with whatever I had going on. Um, I was frustrated because I did not want to see my mother decline.
Wow.
And my mother was declining, and it was out of my control. Because you want control in the space.
Yeah.
You want everything
Yeah.
to be all right in the space. Um,
And you working super hard.
right,
You're working super hard to hope. It's that hope that things are going to turn around
correct,
and we're going to get another year or
correct,
two,
correct,
three.
correct,
I'm over here and I'm cooking dinner. She
correct,
don't got to worry about nothing. Just
correct,
rest.
correct.
And
That's
wow.
true. And being transparent, there was a point um, where my mother ended up with a bed sore because she started wearing diapers.
Mhm.
And I would get up, several times during the day because if she was wet, I wanted to change it. I didn't want her to, because I knew about the skin thing. And it happened. The bed sore that I tried to prevent happened. And I was so frustrated by it all. I was mad at myself. I'm a nurse. How could this possibly happen? And I took
Yeah.
myself down a real bad, slippery slope. Because how, as a nurse who understands skin, understands rotating people, how did this happen? And Archie, when that happened, it was overwhelming for me. My mother had doctors who started coming to the house because they saw how hard it was for us to take her to the doctor.
Right.
So
Yes.
I called her doctor and I said, "Dr. C, I need to get an order for a Foley because Mama has this sore by her cheek and I want to get it before it gets out of hand." So the doctor wouldn't give me the order. And so I had a friend and I called her. She was a nurse. She had a company of her own. And I says, "I need this, this, and this." I got a Foley catheter. I inserted the catheter in my mother. I called the doctor back and I said, "I need an order for a catheter because she now has one." being proactive, because in my mind, I did not want that situation to get any worse.
Right.
And so those are the kind of things that you try to avoid. They happen. You feel like you did something wrong. But at the end of the day, the reality of it is I would never throw her away because she never threw me away.
Wow. Wow. I like that. Thank you. Thank you for that. Listen, guys. First off, because I got like a lot of comments they coming through. People saying God bless you, happy birthday. Yes, that's an important point. Make sure they don't feel like a burden. Happy birthday, guys. You gotta understand. In situations, and these are touchy subjects. And I tell my mom all the time. Yeah, this is why I work so hard. So when the time do come, you can have your wings, but you're gonna be right there.
Right.
Do understand, So people that are my age, if I can speak to them, I want you to understand. Get your things together. Don't wait till everything happens. Like Dr. Hickman said, don't wait till things happen for you to, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Because,
Right.
like she said, once adult protective services get in there, it's just like CPS.
Yes.
Once you get CPS, you're done. Once you get APS, you're done. So, guys, get stuff together and be patient, be kind. Check on your parents. Like, love on each other. It's so much that has happened in the last month. Let's not even talk about the last 2 years, but the last month, And so, all right, let's get on the second book because I can go on and on for
Okay.
hours. Let's
Second
get
book.
on that second book now.
The second book came about, the Black Book of Important Information came about because of the things that I learned in the caregiving space. For example, if you have parents who are military, you can bury your parents in military cemeteries, but you have to have the discharge papers from the military, DDD 14, and then you're able to do that. You also, as I mentioned earlier, it came about because the bank situation, my mother had a bank in Ohio that we had to get rid of because I didn't have any dealings with the banks in Ohio. So we had to make those transitions. So the fact that even insurance policies, mother had her own policy, but at the time when she got the policy, she was the person of the policy. So what my dad was dead. So when I had to go through all these papers, then we had to change beneficiaries. So insurance policies, make sure the beneficiary is who it is, make sure the beneficiary is not dead, because that's a whole nother paperwork snafu. If there's insurance policies from where people used to work, you need to know about those. Find out about that. My mother was a school teacher in Toledo Public School Systems. They had policies. I didn't know it at the time. I found out later. So policies are very important. Who owns the house if it's not paid for? Who owns the taxes if it's not paid for? You need to know those information because if you take over those situations, you need to know. If you don't know, they'll take over it for you.
Yep. Wow.
The Black Book of Important Information is all about aligning what needs to happen, what you need, and support services and respite care, all that in the back. Important phone numbers. I had phone numbers of people on my refrigerator, also in my mother's room, because I might drop dead. You need to call somebody.
Right.
You can't be calling Tyrone because he's not going to answer, right? Don't call Tyrone. You need to call your siblings. You need to call Annie M, Uncle Jim. Somebody needs to know about what's going on. And somebody also needs to know, other than yourself, what's going on with your loved one.
Wow.
I don't need the one to know that mom gets insulin at 6:00 in the afternoon.
Wow.
Okay. So family conversations are very important. Difficult. You need to have them. Get you some fried chicken. You need to have them.
Fried chicken bad for you, mama. Fried chicken bad for you.
But you know what? I want them today too. But anyway, that's another story for another day.
Might go give you some today too.
Okay, but the reality of it, hey, DoorDash me some chicken. You got the money. But the important reality of this whole conversation is how important it is to be proactive on the journey of caregiving. It will keep you from falling in the holes that you don't have to fall into because you have the knowledge to operate in them.
And listen, Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Y'all know I get emotional sometimes, and today was one of them days. Like just to man, take me through there. Listen, guys, these conversations are important to have. Dr. Cynthia J. Hickman. Y'all can read all about her in the 180 Life Enterprise April edition. Listen, guys, we moving on up. If you've been rocking with us from the beginning and you seen the beginning to now, I just need y'all to inbox me and tell me what y'all think. I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but just know 180 Life is a. Are you?
I've met this young man and I've watched him. Now, the first time I met him, I was watching and I said to him, I'm watching you. Haven't I said that to you at least once a week?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I've watched him evolve. He's serious, he's sincere, and he really is a networker because he wants to help us. He wants to help society. He has a mission because he was on a mission. And everybody's journey turns into something else. So he is now trying to help you recognize what we all can be about, and that's our business.
Listen,
the conference.
Okay, thank you so much. Listen, everybody, if you have not registered, I need you to go on the Eventbrite and register. April the 9th. I'll be there. Dr. Hickman, Dr. Bo Baby will be there. Michelle Unveiled will be there. That will be there. Listen, when I tell you we got heavy hitters, we got people coming from California. It's so much stuff. Even some of the sponsors don't even know what's going on. You know, listen, Houston, Texas, 180 Life, Michelle Unveiled came together. We getting on the road. We bringing our Austin people to Houston. Houston is coming out. We got people from the Midwest. We got people from the West Coast. Listen, y'all got to be there. The Creative Connection Conference 2022. Dr. Hickman gonna get up and give us some nuggets. She said she's giving us some nuggets. What to do. She gonna have her books there. She's gonna be signing books. We got authors. We have creatives. What is a creative? Let me explain something to you. I'm the serial entrepreneur. If you pick oranges, you make bananas, you are a planter. I don't care if you have a coloring book. You are creative. If you've taken something that you love, and this is my passion, and I need to do something with it. Listen, singers, songwriters, and rappers aren't the only people that's making a difference in this world. It's so many other people out there. You are creative. You just have to tap into that right mindset. And you have to be around people that's willing to shift that mindset. Because guess what? Iron sharpens iron. Everybody gets mad at me because the people I hang out with now, you know what I'm saying? Doctors and senators and stuff like that. Look, mama says she coming to the party. Don't be tardy to the party, y'all.
Don't be tardy to the party.
Don't be tardy because we got so many surprises. We have a spoken word artist. Goddess P gonna be in the building. We need you guys to go and register. You can inbox me. You can email me. You can go to 180life.com. The tickets are there. If you do not see it, all you have to do is shoot an email. It'll tell you, hey, write a word. Tell us you're looking for the link. We can send it to you at the Holiday Inn, Southwest, Houston, Texas. And it starts at 3:00 all the way to 8. We got musical artists. We got authors. We have playwrights. We have so much going on. It's going to be so crazy. Listen, if you're not in the building, you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out. Dr. Hickman going to be in the building. Mr. 180 going to be in the building. Michelle Unveiled going to be in the building. Dr. Hickman, thank you so much for coming by. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you so much. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. You know your daughter get on me because she said you're being too breathy. You're being too breathy. Come on. I got you. But thank you so much for coming. Happy birthday. You making 68 look good, mama.
Hey.
Listen,
Thank
if
you
you're
so
trying to book Dr. Cynthia J. Hickman, y'all can go find her on Facebook at
Cynthia J. Hickman, Dr. Cynthia Speaks. My
.com.
website, www.cynthiajhickman.info. LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Find me.
Listen, y'all know y'all can find me. Dr. Hickman, thank you so much for coming through. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege. Thank you for them nuggets. Thank you for making sure. Listen, guys, have these conversations. I can't keep giving y'all this free nugget. Pretty soon I'm gonna have to start charging them. Look, Dr. Hickman, I'm gonna talk to you in a minute. Let me get these people about this live because they're gonna be here. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much for listening, for coming. We appreciate you. Can't wait to see you on April the 9th.
April the 9th, 3 to 8.
3 to 8.
Listen, everybody, if you guys enjoyed this, I need you to hit that share button, hit that like button, hit those hearts. Y'all can inbox me, give your love. Thank you so much for tuning in. All those that rocked with me. I know we over our time. I'm going to just have to pay a little bit more extra money to tell the network, let us keep going. Listen, it's been an honor. It's been a privilege. I'm your boy, Mr. 180. Go get the latest magazine, 180life.com. They are out now. We got the digital copy. We got the hard copy. Listen, if you do not have your copy, you are sleeping. I'm going to go through who's up in here. We got the one that was just on the live, Dr. Cynthia J. Hickman. We got Dr. J. Lynn Hicks. We have Ridge Bedell from Arizona, LZK Felton, the Jacksons from Austin, Ashia Walker, Austin, Dr. Jennifer Gilbert, and the cast of Churchin' Ain't Easy. Listen, all this and more on the inside. Y'all have to tune in. Thank y'all for coming. It's been real. It's your boy, Mr. 180, 180life.com. May God bless you. May God keep you, is my prayer. Until next time, guess what? Catch me on Facebook. Catch me outshine. Her right there. Look, no, I'm just playing. Look, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. God bless you. And we out. Hey.